Hey guys, Anthony here. It's Wednesday, December 20th, 2023. This time of year, before Christmas, I get a lot of questions from people and a lot of, we'll call them digs of people like, oh, you don't celebrate Christmas, or why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? When I point people back to Scripture, you point people back to Messiah. You point people back to his disciples. And you talk about false feasts. You talk about paganism. You talk about idolatry. You talk about false worship. We have to be, or a person today has to be like the Bereans in the book of Acts. They listened, heard what was being said or taught. They checked and saw if it lined up with the scriptures, which was the Old Testament. Okay? And then they decided whether they were going to believe it or not believe it. So today you have people saying, well, it's about Jesus. It's not about Jesus. I've already showed you he was not born in December. He doesn't share his glory with Nimrod or Satan or the Antichrist. He does not, he will not, and it will never happen. He was born during a feast, one of his feasts from the Bible, from Scripture. He is the Word made flesh. I have no problem with people, most of my family celebrates Christmas. They put up trees, wreaths, holly, mistletoe, balls hanging everywhere. You could do whatever you want to do. There's no skin off my back. I'm simply telling you, I came out of that pagan tradition and I no longer follow it. You could do whatever you want. You have to answer, each individual, each one of us has to answer to Jesus, to Messiah on Judgment Day, and he'll ask, did you follow my commandments? And if not, why? And you will be judged. So if you feel safe following traditions of men rather than the feasts of Scripture, then go right ahead. You understand you have to answer that. And I'm not for forsaking the assembly, for not wanting to practice lawlessness with churches or congregations that celebrate that, because I don't believe in it. It's not scriptural. It's a made-up pagan festival. And so by me not following it, don't shoot the messenger. I'm sorry, not sorry. I think that's how you say it. I'm just delivering a message. You follow whatever you want. Okay? All I could do is give you the gospel, tell you what Jesus said, tell you what his disciples did, show you in Scripture where it's written that you shouldn't follow pagan traditions. But people want to, strain a gnat and say, well, what about, I'm just doing this. Or if you're celebrating this as Jesus' birthday, you're celebrating a pagan holiday that has nothing to do with him. You're not going to be blessed for celebrating it. You're putting lipstick on a pig. You're creating something that's not biblical. Yes, he was born, virgin birth. Everything, even that story's corrupted in the nativity scene and everything else. They don't get anything right. Very few things they get right. But anyway, we're not commanded to celebrate a birthday, his birthday. We know when it is, but we're not commanded to celebrate it. We're commanded to celebrate the 7 feasts of Scripture. We're commanded to follow the 10 commandments. The first 4 having to do with our relationship with the Most High. The last 6, our relationship with others. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, strength. Love others as yourself. That sums up the law and the prophets. It's not doing away with the law and the prophets. He's just giving a summary statement. Everything else falls under that. It's all tied in. He didn't do away with it. He fulfilled it. And you're going to be judged by it. Because sin is lawlessness. You missed the mark. Yeah, sin's missing the mark. Yeah, it's lawlessness. And you'll be judged by the law. Messiah died for your sin, yes. You love Messiah, yes. Why don't you follow him? I love Jesus. Okay, follow his commandments. That's what he said. If you don't, the branch gets broken off and thrown in the fire. It's very simple. It's a very simple thing, but people don't want to follow it. So this video is just a recap of, some of the questions I get asked. And at the end of the day, you're going to do what you're going to do. The book of Romans talks about these people that know deep down inside God, what is law, it's written in their hearts, they know it, but yet they still do debauchery and all these other sinful acts and things, knowing that they're going to be judged by it. So it's the same thing with celebrating false feasts. How many do you think you're going to celebrate and get away with it, and then disregard everything written in Scripture that says you should be following? He's the same yesterday, today, and forever, guys. Doesn't matter what your pastor says or a fancy seminary word he gives you. Check the word for yourself, like the Bereans. It's okay to go back and look at Scripture and see what it says. It's not okay creating false feasts and celebrating the coming of Nimrod, the coming of the Antichrist. The devil's sweet, he seeps in at all different levels, and he winds his way in like an octopus. He's entangled in everything. That's why there's thousands of denominations and Messianics and Hebrew roots and everything else. Listen, there's his chosen people that were called from the beginning, Yasharel, set apart to be a light and a beacon to the nations. The Gentiles were always grafted in, and that's how it is today. I'm a Gentile. I'm grafted into Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. I'm grafted in. I'm thankful to be part of the vine. I'm thankful for it. Praise Yah. I've made many mistakes. I've done many things wrong, but I look at Scripture and I learn. I've come out of her, my people. I'm not saying you have to do the same thing. I'm telling you, just giving you the truth. What you do with it is up to you. Much love, everyone. I'm not making these videos to criticize anybody or denounce somebody. I'm just telling you to check Scripture. And if your tradition is more important than celebrating, Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits, Pentecost, etc., go right ahead and do it. If your tradition is celebrating Sunday Sabbath as the Sabbath when it's not, go right ahead and do it. If your tradition is eating pork and unclean foods, go right ahead and do it. Keep putting lipstick on the pig. But remember, sin is lawlessness, and the law is the Torah. It doesn't get any simpler than that. Even I understand that I'm not the brightest, sharpest tool in the shed. And I can understand it. I got no fancy plaques hanging up on the wall, nor do I need them. Blessings in Messiah, everybody. Blessings in Messiah.